In a world where Maitland McDonough, First Lady of Horror, speaks, and you have a front row seat. This is Maitland on movies, horror, double feature. No, they're not calling it Predator versus Hallmark. So Maitland, what'd you see this week?
Well, this week I saw Predator, and have to say it was a pretty good movie. And
The
I'm
new
not
one?
sure I entirely expected that to be the case because, there's Team Predator and there's Team Alien, right? And I have always been very, very much Team Alien. I like the aliens so much better,
Yeah.
partly because of their appearance. They are so sleekly, horrifyingly perfect, and partly because the great thing about the aliens is you don't have a chance. You can't do anything with them. You can't talk to them, let alone reason with them. They are in every way stronger than you and more ruthless than you. They don't care. They will just keep on coming until you cut them to pieces. And of course, because they are basically heavily armored insects, when you come right down to it, that's really hard. They're just
Yeah,
perfect.
the perfect scene for me with aliens in all the movies was the one where one of the aliens just kills the alien next to it so that the blood can drip through and destroy the floor so it can leave. It's like, I need that.
Yep,
Yeah.
because that's what the aliens are. There is no camaraderie. They don't care. It's everyone for itself, and every one of them is formidable. I can see, though, why other people prefer the predators, because the predators, although certainly not human, have far more qualities that people can relate to. They have a culture, they
Yeah.
have families, they have friends, they can make alliances. I mean, you can't make an alliance with an alien. It's just
Yeah.
not going to happen. So you can relate to them in a way that,
And they attacked two governors, Schwarzenegger and Ventura.
and there you go. So yeah, predators, go.
Yeah. So Badlands lives up to, exceeds, falls a little short of. Where does it come out?
It actually very much lives up to, but it's quite different from most of the Predator movies, in part because the Predator here is quite a young Predator, and he is the Predator who is clearly a disappointment to his family. He's the one who cannot please dad, and there are just no two ways about it. And
Right.
he finally just has to go off and do that, go into the wilderness and prove yourself, and don't come back till you've done it. Okay, so that's a good setup. That's a coming of age setup. But
Yeah.
then it turns into something else where he encounters a synthetic human being, a young woman, who at this point is in kind of bad shape because she's been cut off pretty much at the waist. So there's only half of her.
Yeah.
And he takes it upon himself to look after her. And of course, she is perhaps not smarter than he is, but much more sophisticated in her thinking. The predators are definitely blunt. They're blunt tools.
Yeah.
Kill good. They absolutely know how to do that. They know how to survive in hostile environments. What this particular young predator is doing is learning to survive in an exceptionally hostile environment. He's been dumped on a planet where everything's going to kill you. The plants are going to kill you. The vines are going to creep down and grab you around the throat and swing you around until you either get yourself loose or you die. It's a fantastic setting, the idea that there is this world that is so awful that
Yeah.
it's the proving ground for the offspring of a race of beings who are ruthless beyond compare. So if you can't cut it there, your
Yeah.
family doesn't care. You're going to die there by whatever of the many things that can kill you there are. But this predator is oddly compassionate, perhaps because he is the runt of his family.
Yeah.
He's come to appreciate what it's like to be the underdog. And so he takes up with this synth. And of course, what is always the big bad in an alien related movie? It's Wayland Yutani.
Of course.
Yeah, which is worse than anything that any planet could throw at you
Yeah.
because It's corporation. We all know corporations have no morals whatsoever. And all they want is to basically rape whatever planet they come across, take everything from it that's worth taking. If there are people of any kind, shape, or form in their way, they will either make a deal with them that is vastly advantageous to Weyland-Yutani, or they'll just kill them all.
Yeah.
Whichever one is more convenient.
No, they can also do both, but yes.
Or they could do both, exactly. You can use all the ones who are useful and then kill them later, after you kill all the useless ones first. So this is the environment in which this young alien has been dumped, and in which he forms this alliance with this quite pretty young synth, given that there's only half of her. Although, of course, she is a synth, so that could be fixed, possibly.
Yeah.
That potential is always there. But basically, it's a buddy movie. That's the core of it. It's the guy who's been thrown out by his family and has to prove himself, and the synth who has been damaged and left to rot, except that, of course, the synths don't rot. So he's just left to rot, not rot, out in the middle of nowhere. And the way these two disenfranchised beings manage against all odds to not only form some kind of alliance, but to actually help each other. Honestly, first of all, it's a very simple story, and it's a very basic story until you add in the plants that shoot poison darts at you. That's a very nice variation. And the vines that will strangle you and all those other things. The fact that the planet itself is the enemy, not in an abstract form, in that you can't find enough water or you need shelter from its blistering sun, but because it is actively out to get you. And then on top of that, the great big Weyland-Yutani plant, where all of the corporate drones are making the world worse for everybody.
I can just see the pitch meeting for this. It's okay, so think ancient Sparta. We've got this guy who doesn't want to come home on his shield or in victory. He thinks there's a third option. We're going to give him a buddy, well, half a buddy, and no, not like twins, since we mentioned Schwarzenegger. We're going to give him half a buddy, and you know what it really needs? It needs a giant evil corporation and poisonous plants. And if we do that, we have a perfect movie.
Exactly. It's a perfect storm. We've got everything. And no matter who comes in to see this movie, even the partner who's like, oh, okay, you want to see that? I'll go with you, will almost certainly find something that he or she likes. And it's extremely well acted, and a lot of kudos to a lot of actors working under a lot of makeup. I am always really, really impressed by people who are able to perform when they can't use every actor's first weapon, which is face, because you're buried under mandibles and and that bizarre alien hair that also has a life of its own. The predators are very, very freaky, but there is a real performance there that works in a really poignant way. You feel really bad for this guy because his family is one of those families where you can never be good enough. And you know that every child in that family is at war with every other child, because the only thing that will make you even remotely happy is to feel as though, okay, my parents still don't love me, but they don't love me less than they don't love the next ones down the line, which is a surprisingly sophisticated relation dynamic for the predators, because clearly the predators were always designed to just be, okay, this is the soldier class, except it's an entire species. The entire species is soldier class, and all they do is they do what they're told. They answer to their superiors. They throw themselves on their swords if that's what they have to do. There is no room for personality there, let alone things like compassion and affection. And yet here is this monster toting this half girl who is a synth around on its back because there is some little spark of something in him. It's positively Hallmark movie-ish. And I have to say, that made me really enjoy it more than I have often enjoyed the Predator movies, because ultimately the Predators are killing machines. And yes, they are sentient beings and they have a culture. They're not the aliens who are just big bugs.
So I have a very good friend, John Ocampo, who loves all of these movies, the aliens more than the predators, like you, and his wife is not nearly a fan. So I will find out after he drags Jen to the movie if it really does work as a Hallmark movie. It really does work for somebody who's not embedded in the whole franchise mechanic. But yeah,
I look forward to hearing what Jen thinks about that. Yeah.
I will get you some information on that. Very good.
I'm
So
willing to bet that it won't be a full conversion, but she will look at that and say, well, okay, there were actually people I liked in this movie.
yeah,
Granted, they were all synthetic humans, but synths don't usually get a good rap for
yep.
their attractive human qualities. It's usually other attractive quality, depending on what kind of synths they are and what they were made for.
Very good. So we get a big thumbs up on this one?
I absolutely give a big thumbs up on it. And I saw it in a theater full of people who were just loving it. And you can always tell, right?
Yeah.
Even if they're not being disruptive and spoiling everybody else's experience, you can tell when an audience is completely
Oh, yeah.
engaged in a movie. And this audience was completely engaged. And it was a fairly diverse group of ages, women and men both. And so I also think that bodes well for it, frankly, that there really are multiple audiences for this movie. And even the people who get dragged along because, okay, so and so really wants to see it and it won't kill me. I think a number of those people are going to come out of it saying, wow, there was a real story there and I was
Yeah.
genuinely invested in it. And and boy, was I impressed by the scene where the half synth does
Yeah.
some really wild kung fu moves. This is not the top half of the synth. This is the bottom half of the synth, which,
Spoilers.
yeah, no, that's not a spoiler because it doesn't have any enormous impact on the plot. It's just pretty great to watch.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, and we'll see you again next week.
On behalf of Maitland McDonough and myself, Charles Baruch, we wish you nothing but happy dreams.